I'm sorry, Dave.
I would say that The Spectacular Now is the rare teenage love story that's actually also for adults, where there's real stakes, real drama, and the way that we actually treated it was that it was an adult romantic drama where the characters just happened to be 18 years old.
Excellent. Well, it's very intense. One thing I wanted to ask you about that I noticed is in Off the Black and Smashed, the alcohol theme, which I know as a filmmaker you can get a lot of drama from that, a lot of storytelling, even some comedy. Do you have additional reasons for including that in such fascinating ways?
This is vodka, actually. I'm just, cheers. I am just drunk right now.
Yes, well, this is why we love you in Seattle. This is how we do it. Well, when I watch your stuff as an actor myself, it's like a master class in acting. The performances that you get in your films are stunning.
Oh, thank you.
What are you like as a director from an actor's point of view?
I think a friend and a collaborator. I spend the most time on casting, on finding the right people. Once I found the right people, I think I'm casting them not just because they fit the part, but because they have really great imaginations. So I treat it as the same way I would if I was working with a really great composer or production designer. I really love, their ideas. So I try to not micromanage. We talk a lot before we, shoot about the character, about the characters, about the story, and get on the same page. But then once we're kind of in agreement, like what the characters want and what all the scenes are about, then on set it's really free, and I let sort of the director or the actors sort of direct the action, and not the other way around.
How did you get these two particular actors? The specificity for your casting there must have been just sharp. I mean, you probably knew exactly what you needed.
Yeah, Shailene Woodley, I really had loved her in The Descendants, and had no idea who she was before that. And she wasn't on my radar really from the television show that she'd been on. And she reminded me not of any really contemporary actress. She reminded me of like a young Sissy Spacek or Barbara Hershey, Deborah Winger, actresses who are just fiercely intelligent and sort of have a dedication to honesty and a lack of vanity, and will really go anywhere and do anything and don't really care how they look, if their makeup's perfect and anything like that, or even if they're wearing makeup for that matter, which the actors in this film really didn't wear. Then finding Sutter, the actor who would play opposite her, I wanted someone that was the most charismatic and kind of self-destructive kid you've ever met in your life. And it was really hard. We met every young actor under the sun, American, British, Australian, and I had seen Miles Teller in Rabbit Hole opposite Nicole Kidman, and he sort of broke my heart with just how stoic he was and how much he internalized grief. Met with him and we hung out for I think 4 or 5 hours just talking, and I just love his whole approach to life and acting, and he really is probably the most charismatic person I've ever met in my life. So the two of them, it was really important to me also that just the two of them had the right chemistry, and so I just wound up hanging out with the two of them and just sort of buying them coffee and watching them. And they were just so compelling. They have such different energies as people, and I just hope that we could capture some of that on screen, and I tried to not get in the way too much.
Well, you did.
Oh,
and I have a feeling your actors probably love you.
I hope so. I like them. I would work with them again in a heartbeat. Well, there's 3 scenes that were, I think, the toughest scenes to get. One was just a long walk and talk through the woods with the 2 leads. It sort of ends with them kissing for the first time. But it was something that was about a 6-minute shot that we always knew we were going to do as a oneer, sort of going through the woods on this muddy trail. And it was something that required actors to be able to, it had to feel natural, but it was entirely scripted. The actors had to really know that and just be perfect. And sort of the crew had to also be in sync with them. And it was something that was really, really tough because it required the cameraman to sort of backpedal for 6 minutes up a sort of muddy, wet trail. And it never quite seemed to click. There were times when we ran out of film because it went too long. There were times when the Steadicam rig was too heavy and people were sort of collapsing in the mud. And just when we thought maybe we had it, the sky opened up and there was a thunderstorm for an hour and a half. We waited under a tent. When we came back, the light had changed. So we had to move on because it was an independent film. And when we sent the film, we shot it on Anamorphic 35. When we shot it off to be processed, we had no idea if we had it or not. And it was really a gift to see that we had it. In fact, in the finished product, you see them sort of kiss at the end of it, and the camera kind of dips a little, and it feels a little bit like a mistake. But the way that literally what was happening was our DP was collapsing to the ground, and I think on a studio film maybe they would have done a reshoot, but I sort of saw it as there's that thing that people say about Persian rugs, that they intentionally weave flaws into them because only God is perfect, supposedly. So I sort of like the idea that the film had a very handmade quality.
Well, we'll do our part.
Oh, thank you.
And we're looking forward to seeing you back repeatedly
I would
every
love to.
time you have something to show. And maybe we'll get lucky, you'll shoot something in the area. We got a decent incentive here.
I would love
You're
that.
the kind of filmmaker Washington State wants to be making movies.
I would be honored.
And we'll have more of our vodka.
Yeah, hey.
That's something? Aren't
Yeah.
you glad we put ice in that,
Yeah,
man?
exactly. Whoa. The good stuff. The good stuff.
You want to go on a pub crawl?
Let's do it.
Be curious.